What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Kaotikast. This is episode 5, and of course, in this episode, we are going to be discussing the state of play. With me, as always, I have Levy the Amish Man.
Yeah. I think at this point, since we already made 5 episodes, I think we should say, hey, this is Levy, he's here.
Well, he's always here.
Yeah, I'm always here. He's like Cool Cat.
He's always watching.
There he is.
All the time. He knows where you live. He knows where
that's Derek. He loves all the kids. I talk about like all this. There are too many fucking online directs.
What, you mean for Nintendo or for all these
everything, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo. Yeah. Soon there's going to be.
Well, that's apparently because I think wasn't it like this year they said that there wasn't as much to show off for E3, so they just decided to show a lot of the stuff they have to offer on their own shows and I guess spread it out over the summer.
I mean, it makes sense, but one thing that I've noticed, it was also because of they just figured out a way that they could capitalize off the online market.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's part of it.
Since what, E3, Sony didn't show up, but did their own fucking Nintendo Direct type thing.
Yeah, this is basically just a few more games, I guess, that Sony wanted to show. Yeah, the state of play.
It
literally was a few games. Not literally, but it was not that many. And I think the last state of play was also fairly short. This one was also pretty short.
Yeah. Wasn't that like the one for the PS5, or was that
was its own
separate thing? Oh, which honestly, I wasn't surprised at it at all. But I loved how a lot of people, when they saw a state of play, they immediately thought PS5 shit.
Well, we got some of that, but not that much. And it wasn't really representative of, at least I don't think, it was really representative of what I'm assuming we could expect with the PS5. And we also never know if the footage is actually being recorded on the PS5 or just on a gaming PC, because as people have discovered, a lot of the gameplay we see where they say it's going to be on the next-gen consoles ends up just being on on a gaming PC or something. So I really wouldn't be surprised if that was what it was. Although with one of the games in particular, Godfall, they at least claim that it's running on a dev kit for the PS5 or a dev build for the PS5, something like that. So all I'm saying is I think we should take those claims with a grain of salt, because like I mentioned, it's been shown in the past that that's not always the case, that it's not, of course, always running on the next gen console that they claim the game is running on. This is pretty true of a lot of things. They usually get shown at events like E3. They find it's just running on a gaming PC.
Yeah, when they show it off. But I love how, like I said, whenever they showed off PS4 and VR stuff, immediately people were uninterested, because VR. No one likes VR.
I mean, there are some interesting things in VR, but the problem with VR is it just has such a limited amount of games to offer at the moment. And I feel like it's just one of those things where I just feel like the technology just is not there yet.
Or it's there, but only for certain things. Like, example, Beat Saber. The Java Vacation
games
Simulator.
Can work really well with it, but not a lot of games. It really depends. Some games just don't work so well with it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Also, since I mentioned VR, that's the first thing I'm going to discuss, because how I listed it, I just went by the least to most.
Not in order of what was shown.
Well, not in order, but just like what was shown and like what had the like PS4 had the most to show, but then you had PS4 or PS5 and then PSVR, which wasn't even that much.
No,
like one of them that they showed off was Hitman being playable in VR.
Yeah, of course. First they show Hitman 3, and then they show it running in VR, which surprisingly looks not too bad. Like, you know, I think they also claimed the other games would have VR support too. So
yeah, they're going to make 1 and 2 VR accessible.
It'll be interesting. Like,
I'm
curious, like, to see how that's going to work in a Hitman game. Like, how exactly. I mean, I can see it kind of being annoying too, because Hitman, like in Hitman games, you really are moving around a lot, and it's really about like how like the different approaches you have to assassinating a target, and I'm just not really sure how all that's going to work in VR, because as we know, like in VR, the way you move is you basically kind of teleport around a room. So I'm not really sure how this is going to work with Hitman, especially considering it's sort of like a stealth, like hiding in plain sight type game. I just don't know. Like, I'm not really sure how that's going to work in VR, and like we only saw like kind of a brief glimpse of it, and it didn't really give us a really good idea of like what we can expect.
Yeah, like you're thinking whenever it comes to like games like this, from what like teleporting from point A to point B, it just reminds me of like fucking Doom FVR, which or any. I just hate games like that. It's like, hey, it's a first-person shooter in VR. Okay, cool. What can we do for it? Oh, you're not moving around. You're
no, like this is going to be like a stealth game in VR, and like that can work, but it really depends on like what kind of game it is. And like Hitman is, it'd be like playing Assassin's Creed in VR, because Assassin's Creed is another like game that implements the hiding in plain sight type of stealth.
It's but at the same time, it's just I think we just gotta wait and see how it looks.
Yeah, because I really think that what they showed at the what they showed here was not really representative of like what actually the game is actually like in VR. It's probably just scripted just specifically for this event. Maybe it's not, but I typically most of the time I'm under the impression like most of the games are probably just scripted for this specific event. Sometimes they're not, but sometimes it's really obvious when they are.
Yeah. Speaking of another VR game, Vader Immortal.
Oh yeah, that actually looked interesting. I actually liked how that looked in VR. It like a Star Wars game in VR kind of makes sense, especially if you're a Jedi.
Yeah, but there's a problem with that though. It was already released for other VR consoles.
Oh, the Vader game. Oh, I didn't even know it was out. It was already out.
Oh, I already knew it was already out.
Is it good?
From what I heard, it was not that bad.
So,
like certain episodes were
this is
pretty
just
good,
a port,
but
then.
other episodes were terrible.
Okay,
it's a port.
I really had no idea. This is what research can do. Like I didn't bother to really look that up.
Yep, it is. Funny enough, it took lessons from fucking Telltale and made 3 parts.
Wow. Is it like a narrative heavy game or something, or is it just like a more gameplay heavy, like gameplay focused?
That I actually don't know. But it was written by the guy who acted as a writer for the Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh, yeah, David
C. S. Goyer.
David Goyers is like really hit or miss.
Yeah, very.
He also wrote Blade Trinity. So.
Yeah, he's very hit or miss.
But yeah, so some other things. There was a few different PS5 announcements.
Yeah. Well, and then they also showed off more, but The only two that they showed off more of was Bug Snacks and Godfall.
Yeah, we actually got some gameplay for Godfall, and it's... Well, should we go ahead and talk about Godfall, or should we talk about some of these other games?
Let's talk about Godfall, just that way, and Bug Snacks, because they showed off more gameplay for it.
Yeah, I would talk about Godfall, because that has more of my interest than Bug Snacks, to be honest. It looks okay.
True.
They're describing it as a looter slasher, which is kind of weird. Like, I guess they're just combining elements of a looter shooter and putting it into a hack and slash.
Well, good example would be like Borderlands in a medieval setting.
Well, yeah, they're describing it as a high fantasy setting. Gameplay wise, it looks okay. I wasn't blown away by it. It looks okay. Like, a lot of people, I think they were hyping it up, and now I'm seeing more of it. I'm just like, I don't know. It might be good. It might be, and especially, it seems like, you can play the game co-op, and you can play it single player, which is cool, but, yeah.
It's cool, but there are other games that are better, aka Borderlands, Risk of Rain.
Yeah, it could be a good game, but it just doesn't really look like anything I haven't seen before.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a generic fantasy game.
Yeah, there's nothing really unique about the setting as far as I can tell. But yeah, they basically just showed off some of the different... It was sort of like an overview of the combat system, and it looked really fast-paced.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, really fast-paced, and it could be fun, but it just it looked more like it was one of those button mashers or something, like like the combat wasn't necessarily difficult. I guess it looked kind of easy from what I was seeing. Could be wrong, but that's the impression I got from looking at it.
Yeah. If they make it roguelike, then I'm gonna be like upset.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I also I'm starting to have sort of a bias against Gearbox, because a lot of the stuff they put out, I'm really either like lukewarm on, or I just don't like it.
Oh, I don't blame you. Like, fucking Borderlands 3 wasn't even all that good.
So, Gearbox working on it already kind of honestly gives me some doubt.
Yeah, like press X to doubt for it being good. Thank you, Randy Pitchford. You ruined everything.
Oh, and then there's Bug Snacks. I think you probably have more to say about Bug Snacks.
The only thing that I can actually say about Bug Snacks, it kind of reminds me of Spore mixed with Slime Rancher, just a little bit.
I haven't played either of those games, so.
Spore was that you can create your own alien and actually make more out of it. Yeah, and Slime Rancher is essentially you just collect slime and just ranch those materials. Mm-hmm. So a pretty alright game, but it's a hit or miss for people.
Okay, so I guess I would just kind of go in no particular order for some of these other games. I can talk about this one, Hood, Outlaws, and Legends. When I first saw the trailer, I was intrigued at first, and then, like, the characters showed up, and I was just like, as we were saying before about Godfall, I just was like, oh, great, more generic fantasy stuff, and it looked like it was kind of like a multiplayer co-op game, and that's pretty much what it is. I don't know. It really just did not catch my interest at all. Not really my kind of game. Some people might like that, but it's just one of those things where it's just like, it's just not for me. Didn't really like what I saw.
Like, visually it looks alright, but it's just not even that impressive.
It's just it's nothing that really stood out to me. It's just like there's at least 1,000 other games that are like this, and it's just like, give me a reason why I should be intrigued, and I wasn't really getting that.
Yeah, like, show us something that's can show us something that could actually make us say, "Hey, you need to buy this game."
Yeah,
and
that's the problem. I just wasn't getting that from any of his trailer, and it was all mostly just a pre-rendered trailer.
Yeah. Also, let's talk about another game that got ported, but this time it's coming to PS5. Temtem.
I really don't know what this game is.
Okay, I've heard about this game, and I heard that it was all right. It's essentially a MMO Pokemon-like game, where you catch monsters, kind of like in the way of Pokemon, have battles like Pokemon, and yeah.
So it's basically Pokemon, but not.
Yeah, but it looks good, even though it's not a Pokemon game or a Pokemon homage.
Yeah, I guess if Pokemon's your thing, you might be into that.
Yeah, like if honestly, I would just say just get it on this early access on Steam.
Yeah, yeah. There was some other games I saw that were also like I didn't even know, but they were already like I think they were already out or they had already had like betas and stuff. One of those games, and this is one of the games that kind of interested me, but I think it was Genshin, or
Genshin.
It reminded me of like a Tales of game, just the gameplay. But it looked pretty interesting. Basically, like an action RPG with an anime art style. I saw apparently there was also like I think it was a closed beta that happened like a few months ago for the game, and people seem to have good impressions of it. I think so.
Like it looks impressive.
Yeah, this is definitely a game I'd be interested in. Probably one of the more interesting announcements or reveals in this in the state of play.
Yeah. Well, since that was a PS4 game.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was PS4.
Yeah, I mean, that's also another game that really like I wouldn't even think would show much of the potential of what the PS5 can supposedly do too, because it's it's not really a graphically complex game or anything.
But it looks like a game that you can really enjoy. But another game that you said that it looked all right was The Pathless.
Yeah, The Pathless, like it obviously is kind of like an indie game, but it looked like it looked like it was like a heavily inspired by a Japanese setting or something, and you like follow around a bird, and you have to like. At first, I wasn't sure if it was going to like have any combat, and then they showed off some of these monsters that are that you fight in it, and you mainly use like a bow and arrow to fight them. But it looks pretty fun.
Yeah.
So I might check the game out.
It does. It does, but it's only for PS5. Sadly. Yeah. Like it doesn't even look like a PS5 game. It looks like maybe like mid.
Yeah, this is a
PS4.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like I said, looks like an indie game, and it's not really a graphically intensive game or anything. It has a very simplistic art style, and graphically, it does not look demanding at all. So, in terms of like, I mean, seems to be a true PS5 exclusive apparently, and it's not really impressing me if that's what PS5 is. If this is what they have to offer for like a PS5 exclusive. But then again, like I said, I can't fault the game itself. It's an indie and all that, but I think the fault more so lies with them sort of choosing to show this as like one of the exclusives they want to show off, when they could have shown something more, I guess, more impressive, graphically impressive, because a lot of the reason people want to upgrade to the PS5 is like, it's capable of just higher fidelity graphics and all this, 4K, and them just showing this, it's just like, wow, I could play this on Steam or anywhere else, and
or PS4. Like bringing up like another showcase that Sony had, the PS5 showcase. Like some of the games that they showed off, it shows off the PS5 kind of well. Like for Horizon Forbidden West, it showed off what the PS5.
Well, that was a pre-rendered trailer.
True, but it can show off what the PS5 is actually capable of. Even Ratchet and Clank did the same thing.
Oh yeah, well I guess I could say true, I forgot about Ratchet and Clank. But then again, even Ratchet and Clank, it's sort of it's also kind of, it's a little bit more graphically intensive, but not by much. It's sort of a cartoonish game. But show me maybe something like Horizon gameplay of that, or maybe even the Demon's Souls remake, I would, you might have me, but we didn't get that, so
that would have been better. That would have been a little bit better if they showed shit like that off. But I know for like Horizon and Demon's Souls remake, it's probably because it's still in development, they don't have anything at the ready. So it would
I'm not really faulting them for that. I'm just saying if they had shown that, then you probably would have given me a little bit of a reason to maybe want to get it. But yeah, so far the only PS5, supposedly the gameplay for PS5 games we have is like the Ratchet and Clank game and this game.
Yeah. Oh. You just mentioned like games that you could play on the PS4 or something like that. Because it linked me to a video. Remember a game called Braid?
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention that.
Yeah, because that was a game that was made for PC, PS3, and 360 in 2008, and now they're remaking that for like PS4.
Yeah, it's I think it's gonna be like just a total remaster of the game where they're redoing all the sprites and the artwork for the game.
Yeah, the animation.
I mean,
sprites,
it looks
visuals.
good. I've heard of the original game, but I haven't really played too much of it, so I don't have much of an opinion on it. It seems like sort of like a indie 2D platformer. Yeah,
it is. Oh, and it's also coming out for PS5 as well. I'm just thinking, why put Braid on the PS5?
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, PS4 does have a fair share of indie games too. So,
yeah. Which I think this is another reason why a lot of people didn't like this state of play.
Yeah, I mean, they really did come out with a lot of. I mean, as much as I don't. I don't think indies are inherently bad or anything. They came out with like a lot of those kind of titles.
Yeah, all I'm hearing from that is, where's my Horizon?
Well, I mean, even though Horizon would not really be ready to show off or anything, at least, as far as I know, at least.
I don't know if it's worse or on par with the Nintendo Direct Mini at this point. But anyway, speaking of it, hey Cass, let's talk about more indie games. How about Splunky?
Splunky.
Yeah, how about Splunky 2?
Yeah, there's going to be Splunky 2. I've heard of Splunky, again, another game I haven't really played, so I really have no opinion.
Well, if you don't know... Okay, for people that don't know what Splunky is, I will help out. It is a roguelike exploring game. Or action-adventure game, is what I meant to say.
Yeah, that's the impression I got from the gameplay.
It's fun, though. Hard, but it's fun. Like, it kind of matches, like, on par with, like, Binding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon, that type of game. It's fun. And, funny enough, Splunky 2 was in development for so long. It was supposed to come out It was supposed to come out, like, late last year, early this year, but it never did.
Well, I guess it's finally coming out next year. Or this year.
No, it's coming out this year.
Well, I was getting confused because like a lot of the games they showed, of course, were just like release date was next year for most of them.
Yeah, like Braid, some of the PS5 shit. And also Hitman 3 or Hitman Trilogy VR.
And I joked about this actually. I think in the last podcast that Remedy would be on for the state of play, and it would show more control. That's exactly what the fuck they did.
And they did. Yeah, they showed off their second and last DLC.
There is some hope because I think we see a brief glimpse of, I think, the actor that plays Alan Wake in the trailer. So maybe in the expansion, they might have an Alan Wake 2 tease. Fingers crossed. I don't know. But we can only hope that might be the case. I'm honestly more excited for a potential Alan Wake 2 tease than I am for the actual fucking DLC, to be honest, or the expansion. Because I'm really hoping that's what it is. Because I've been, they've really been like sitting on, announcing Alan Wake sequel for a long time at this point, and
yeah, they've been talking about it for
I'm
years.
really hoping, like, I really feel like just the fact that they showed that, hopefully, means they might be doing a sequel, but maybe I'm being too optimistic and then I'll just forget about Alan Wake again. But I hope not.
Yeah, you're just being very optimistic. What other things did they show off besides Control?
Well,
how about chess?
Let's see.
They showed off.
Oh yeah, the chess
auto
game.
chess.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it was a chess game, I just completely tuned out. I was like, I stopped watching for a bit because I was just like, I don't care.
Yeah, it's like, it looks fun in its own right, but at the same time, it's just, I would play other games. Just give me any other game that's not chess.
You want to play chess on the PS5 with Grandpa?
No, thank you, because I have Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classic, so I can play chess on my Switch.
Yeah. Oh god.
Another good game, but it's.
There was also that weird game, The Pedestrian. What the fuck was that? Like, I don't know what that was.
It looks like a puzzle game. From what I'm looking at, it looks like one. Like, that looks like a game that you should put in VR.
Yeah, I guess so. I literally did not care. I was just like, I don't know what this is, and I really don't give a shit.
I mean, here's my thing. It looks fun, but at the same time, it looks bizarre, and it will turn people off.
Yeah, well, I guess we can veer into something else. Another bizarre-looking game, bizarre in a good way, is this game called, I think it was Aeon Must Die. I thought the art style was really interesting. I really liked the art style. It actually looked like a pretty decent game. Like, I would definitely want to check that out.
Yeah, it looks like a beat 'em up.
And it's like sort of like a 2D sort of side-scroller type game.
Or
2.5D.
2.5D.
There was a few of those types. There was one other game that
Anno Mutation.
Yeah, that was, and it was like this. It had this anime art style, and then some of the scenes it had kind of reminded me of Avon Kelly, and it was kind of weird. Like I wasn't sure what I was watching for, like what the game was, because like it has this 2.5D gameplay, and I mean it's another interesting game, but I just have no idea like what it really is. I guess you could say it's sort of like it seemed like it was sort of like an action game or something.
It looks like an action, like sci-fi thriller type game. It looks interesting. I would try it out. But yeah, since we already talked about everything, there's only one game left.
It's about time.
For Crash. God damn it. It's about time to talk about Crash 4. And apparently they gave us more shit.
A lot more shit, actually.
They introduced fucking inverted mode.
That was weird. Like, I mean, in a good way, but it was like I wasn't expecting that. So apparently you can go back to certain levels, and certain levels will have different like themes or things you can do in them. Like you replay the levels, and like in some levels you can, you get like one of them you could paint the level to like see where you're going, I think, and then another one like you could change the color to more like a looked more desaturated and sped up or something. It was interesting. Like it gives the game a little bit more replayability. And
it gives the game more challenge.
And in terms of the gameplay, like I was impressed. Like it looks like the old school Crash, and I think it.
But with a glow up.
And it picks up supposedly like right after I think it was Crash 3 Warped.
Yeah.
So that's good. Who's handling this game, by the way? Because it's not Naughty Dog, is it? It's somebody else.
No, it's Toys for Bob. It was the people. Hold on. I think Toys for Bob worked on the Spyro remasters.
The Reignited trilogy.
Yeah. Let me see. Toys for Bob. They worked on. Yep, I was right. They worked on. Actually, they worked on a lot of things. They worked on Crash. Insane Trilogy for the Switch. Okay. They also worked on Skylanders. And then now they're doing Crash 4.
Yeah, I mean this looks I really don't think Naughty Dog could have done a better job from what I'm seeing. Like it looks like the original games in terms of the gameplay. And I like everything I've seen of it from the show. This is definitely the best thing they've shown
I don't think Naughty Dog would do anything good with this.
Yeah, Naughty Dog doesn't like fun anymore.
And then No. But I do like how they showed off like other characters you could play as. They showed off Crash, Coco.
Cortex. I was actually really like that was kind of interesting. Maybe you could play as Cortex.
And then they showed off Dingodile.
Yeah, that you actually play as him. And
yeah, you play as a boss.
That's pretty cool. Like I like how there's like a variety with the different characters you can play as. You can play through the whole game as Coco, and you play, I guess, certain levels maybe as Cortex, and then also certain levels, I guess, as Dingo. I'm not sure.
Maybe
we don't really know yet, but yeah.
But out of everything that they've shown, that's actually the best thing.
That was like the best thing of the whole show is just the Crash 4, and it was like the first thing they showed.
And I am so fucking glad that it's coming out in 2 months.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to pick that up. I still actually need to get through the Insane trilogy. I forgot how hard the original Crash Bandicoot games could be at times. Because those games are fucking hard. Like I remember as a kid, I started like I raged at those games. It was like some of my first like gamer rage I started experiencing when I played those fucking games as a kid, because they pissed me the fuck off.
Yeah, the first game that gave
the first game was just unforgiving in some levels.
But it was fun. It's like Cuphead, challenging, frustrating, yet fun at the same time.
But yeah, I like how this game is, like I said, is kind of going back to the roots of the franchise. Not that the games hasn't, like, I mean, we really haven't, I don't think we've really seen a Crash game in a long time since, of course, like the Insane trilogy. So I guess I can't really say, like, oh, it's going back to roots and all that. But I'm glad that, the old, at least, like, it's kind of at least sticking to the formula from the old games and just, changing things for the better in terms of the changes it looks like they're making for this game, or the things that they're adding at least. I'm impressed by it. So I'm pretty excited for this. I honestly kind of have faith in this and these people working on the game, considering they did the Insane trilogy and they also did the Spyro trilogy too, which was decent from what I heard. I still haven't played that. I played some of the Insane trilogy, and I was impressed with what I played of it so far. So if that's anything to go by, then I'm sure Crash 4 is going to be fine. Yeah,
it might be.
I mean, it could be maybe average at best, but worst case scenario. But I anticipate it's probably going to be a decent game.
It'll probably be a better game than the other ones.
Then which one?
The other games that were shown.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's probably the game that the only game people are really going to talk about from this show, to be honest.
Oh, did you see more Godfall? Fuck Godfall.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
Godfall.
you could say
Crash
maybe
4,
Godfall, but I get the impression people don't really care that much about Godfall. They maybe did it first, but now it's just like I got the impression they're just like, yeah.
Yeah. But now let's compare notes to the other fucking things that we've seen. From Nintendo Direct Mini and also the Microsoft one.
Well, I mean, Nintendo Direct Mini had quite a few good announcements, and of course, so did the Xbox show. This show, on the other hand, it had like one, maybe two, if I'm being generous.
It had a few, like at least.
I mean,
two
of course,
or three.
Hitman 3 was the only other thing I guess I would say that I was interested in. Godfall, I'm lukewarm on Godfall. Like, I might like it, but it's something that I'm not really going out of my way to buy. Let's just say that.
And also, at the same time, it didn't do it. Like, this podcast didn't do anything, or not podcast. This podcast didn't do anything. No, this conference didn't do anything that surprised us, like the Microsoft one and the Nintendo Direct.
Like, both of those conferences had like announcements that got a lot of people hyped, got a lot of people interested. I can't really say the same for this.
Like fucking. No, the only thing that they did was, hey, here's Crash 4. Hey, hope you're excited for Crash 4. While Nintendo was like, hey, here's Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne and the release date or release time frame for fucking Shin Megami Tensei 5.
They had things that people wanted
and
to
also
see.
Microsoft. Yeah, and then you had Microsoft that said, hey, here's Stalker 2. And here's Fable. That's coming back.
And it's like some of these games are console are probably going to be like timed exclusives. So it's like we technically will have some actual exclusives for the console. It's just a question of how long they're going to be on the console.
Well, I know Fable is probably going to stay on Xbox because it's a Microsoft product. As for Stalker, that might be a multiplayer.
Yeah, because Stalker started out on the PC.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, both of those aforementioned conferences had a lot of positives. I really feel like this is probably the weakest in comparison, just because it only had like maybe a few different announcements I was interested in. Everything else is just like, I don't really care that much, to be honest. So, I don't know.
How would you rank it? Like, which one is the best, and which one is the worst, and which one is meh?
I would say the Xbox One, in my opinion, is the best, just because of the amount of things that were shown, and the amount of things that was shown. A lot of them caught my interest, and a lot of them were things that I was, at least a few of them were things that I was really looking, wondering about and wanting to, definitely, will eventually play. Nintendo Direct Mini, obviously be second, mostly because of Shin Megami Tensei. The State of Play is last. Only thing really that there's really something I'm really interested in is Crash 4. I like Hitman, so Hitman 3 was interesting to me. The Genshin game looks good too, but that's obviously not going to be an exclusive or anything. But I mean, and it's also a game that I'm also not with the Genshin game too. It's not a game I'm going to go out and like buy on release day or anything like that. Crash 4 maybe.
Yeah,
depends. But yeah, I'm definitely like Crash 4 was the most interesting thing they showed.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with me though. It's like I put Xbox kind of on the top of it because they gave more surprises. They showed off a lot more shit. They all like Fable, DLC for Outer Worlds, Stalker 2. But then again, they also showed off As Dusk Falls, and tell me why.
Yeah, there was a fair amount of, things that were kind of shitty too. I mean, it seems like every conference has to have like some of these like really crappy indie games.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm glad that they didn't I'm glad for the Xbox One, because they actually showed off things that A, more people were interested in, B, things that people were surprised to see there, and C, made it a fairly entertaining conference. While the Nintendo Direct, I'll give it one thing: it's short, like 10 minutes short.
I mean, to be fair, this was short too, so.
But not short enough. But I can also give it fair credit to another thing, which was, like you said, it showed off Shin Megami Tensei, like things that people were wanting for years. But it also, for me, gave me the Cadence of Hyrule DLC, which I wasn't expecting that game to get DLC anytime soon. And then the State of Play today, which it's a major underwhelming disappointment, because they showed off some cool things. They showed off more of Crash 4 and some other indie games that a lot of people might care about, including Genshin Impact. But everything else was just meh. Either we've seen it on other consoles before, or it's something that looks the same and generic.
Yeah, that's definitely the worst thing about the show, in my opinion. Like, they showed off stuff that we already either knew about, or, I mean, like, and of course people might make the argument, oh, well, we knew this beforehand, and I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm still gonna judge it based on what was shown, and that's what was shown. So, it still doesn't make it any better that all we knew what was going to be shown beforehand.
Or you have a bunch of Sony fanboys that would come out of nowhere saying, this conference sucks, they showed up too many indie games. I'm like, well, go back to your AAA games.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there should have been more surprises. I think I really feel like they should have come out with something that would have kind of would have been like I guess the term would be like a banger. Give us something, maybe besides Crash, that we did not expect to be shown.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it pretty much covers the whole conference. Yeah.
That's essentially the whole conference. How we rank it, 4 out of 10.
Yeah, just pretty underwhelming.
Also, Crash 4.
And also because of how short the conference was, this is probably going to be the shortest podcast we've done.
Yeah. So, I noticed how last podcast that we did, we kind of didn't know what to say for things that we liked this week.
Yeah, I even more so don't know what to say for this one, because I already kind of... we're still in the same week.
You put off photo mode. Yeah, you put photo modes in video.
That's how hard I had to think. That was something.
I was thinking maybe Red Dead 2 if you played it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know. Well, I was thinking about saying Red Dead 2, but okay. So I guess I'll just say something that I just recently got. So I recently got the, as you might have seen, I just recently uploaded the unboxing of the Midsummer Director's Cut, which we did not have, actually. So the interesting thing about the Director's Cut, it had a limited release in theaters, and I don't think it's available on digital. I think it's just the theatrical cut, and we don't have a physical copy of the Director's Cut. So we just recently got one, but it was only an exclusive of I think the production company, and they're also the distributor A24. It was exclusive to their site, and it was only limited to a certain amount of copies. And I got one of them, but of course, as I stated in the video, because it also was released on 4K, and I thought I got the 4K of the movie. And apparently, I did not realize that I got the 1080p version which is fine. I mean, I did kind of want the 4K, but I accidentally like didn't click the option for 4K, and I didn't see it there. I just automatically assumed it was the 4K when I ordered the thing, and it's not. So yeah, I got a 1080p version, but it's whatever. Like I said, I'm not too like bent out of shape about it or anything, because the collector's set box is like really nice. It comes in this like kind of, it looks like a hardcover like leather bound book almost, like the outer shell of it. And it also is like the disc itself is housed in like an art book, so which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. So I guess I could say that was maybe my favorite thing this week, is that I've really been like waiting to get this, and I finally got it. So I'm interested in seeing the director's cut, and the director's cut makes the movie, because the movie was already long. The movie is like 2.5 hours long, so the director's cut with all the added scenes makes it like 3 hours long. But
that's not long enough.
But the scenes were kind of develop some characters and also like add some things to the plot, so it's not like unnecessary scenes or anything. And some people say the director's cut is like the superior version of the film anyway. So I'm interested in checking that out. But yeah, Midsommar is, if for those of you who don't know, it's basically it's kind of a, like I said in the unboxing, I compare it to The Wicker Man, not the Nicolas Cage movie, but the older the older Wicker Man. Basically, like, you know, because it deals with the idea of a cult and cult indoctrination, and this cult kind of just living in a remote location in Europe. It's kind of like how the original Wicker Man was. Like, it's this weird cult that just kind of lives on this, you know, nobody knows about them. And it's kind of the same thing with Midsommar. And these people just kind of go on vacation, and they check out this place and this cult, and the cult kind of slowly starts to indoctrinate some of them and kill people off, and you're not really sure what's going on. It's a very slow burn horror movie, but it's an interesting one. So I'd recommend it if you're interested in horror, but just be sure, just, you know, go in knowing it's a slow burn movie. It's not going to it's, like I said in the unboxing, it's very, very much a slow burn. Don't expect it to just kind of get really crazy all of a sudden or anything.
Yeah, don't expect like people with knives to go killing people.
Yeah, and it's strange because like the director's previous movie, Hereditary, was also kind of a slow burn, but then like the climax just got really insane. So don't expect anything like that either, because the movie does have kind of a climax, but it's not like really crazy or anything like it was in Hereditary.
But at the same time, it's worth viewing.
But like it's I feel like it's sort of also like a love it or hate it movie too, just because of what's in it.
Yeah, kind of like one of those. So it's like one of those movies that in time it will have a cult following.
I would say it kind of already has sort of a cult following. We could have talked about that too in the cult following podcast.
Yeah,
because a lot of these like movies that A24 does, they do a lot of these like independent kind of experimental like art house type movies. So I'm sure like a lot of them have like sort of a cult following.
I was also going to say, like, for like most art films or anything that came out recently,
Lighthouse probably has.
Yeah, I was going to say like movies like that later on in time will garnish a fucking cult following. Well, speaking of cult followings, I love how yours is a cult following, so is mine. But at the same time, it's kind of a hard pick because I bought both of these at the same time. I don't know whether to like Paper Mario the Origami King or Destroy All Humans, the 2020 remake.
Which have you been playing more?
Honestly, I've been playing both of them for a fair bit, but I've been enjoying Destroy All Humans a little bit more.
So I guess you'd say Destroy All Humans is probably your favorite thing this week.
For another thing this week, but I'll just say this: like, if it was the only thing about Paper Mario that really, it kind of makes me go, is the combat.
Yeah, and then
the combat.
And then Destroy All Humans, that's the controls.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, a Destroy All Humans, it's a great game. It has a lot of challenges and optional objectives to do. And it's cool to like go in like the 60s, 50s United States as an alien. It's kind of cool to actually do that and also have it reference the fucking room.
I didn't know they did that, actually.
Yeah, they have a scene where some couple, the guy's like, "It's tearing me apart."
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's like, I was like, God damn, they reference a bad movie, but it's a good thing. But yeah, it's like, I love the game, although the one thing that bugs me is that sometimes the controls, if you try to use telekinesis, like it tells you to hold and release to throw, but from whenever I try using it, I try releasing it and it doesn't throw. It's pretty wonky.
I feel like the original might have had that problem too, but then again, like I said, I haven't played it forever, so
it makes sense.
But yeah, so
pretty soon there might be
the sequel. Yeah, hopefully they do the sequel eventually.
Yeah. If they do the sequel, it'll be amazing. That will just get more people to give money to THQ. Because didn't they do it originally?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it was THQ.
Destroy All Humans. Yep. Funny how THQ still has their property for Destroy All Humans.
Yeah. I don't really see THQ doing much anymore, though. I could be wrong.
Hang on. Because now they're still, I think it got funded by Nordic Games, which became THQ Nordic.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So they basically got merged or bought out?
Yeah. Because they got bought out by Nordic Games, and they've been doing a lot of other shit recently.
Speaking of which, press F for all the different game studios that EA has killed.
Oh, what did they kill off?
What haven't they killed off?
That's a fair point. Visceral.
Visceral being like one of the worst. Or not the worst development, just the worst decisions they've made. This is a kill off Visceral.
Yeah, because Visceral gave us Dead Space.
Yeah. They've given us a lot of good games out of the Force Unleashed.
The first one. Actually, did they do? God damn it! Now I have to do my research.
Yeah, the second one too. They wanted to make a third one, but that never happened.
No, they didn't. That wasn't them.
I thought it was.
No, it was LucasArts.
Hold on a second. I'm pretty sure it was.
LucasArts created it. No, it was LucasArts. I love how you're even looking this up.
Maybe not. I don't know. It's.
You know what? Now I have to look this up. Virtual Games.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they were just talking. Okay, so apparently they were talking about doing the Star Wars 1313 game. Or Visceral was going to do it. Apparently.
No. Originally, they were known as EA Redwood Shores. God, they've made They made the My Sins games, which was
okay. So terrible. I might have been wrong. Maybe they didn't do Force Unleashed.
They've made 007, Agent Under Fire, like some of the 007 games.
Because a lot of what I see brought up
Lord of the Rings
is the 1313 game.
Oh, they also made the good Lord of the Rings
Visceral?
games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They made a Return of the
movie
King.
tie-in games were actually not too bad.
I don't know if they made Two Towers.
Did you ever play The Third Age?
They also made that too.
Yeah, the third aid was actually like a turn-based game.
Yeah, it was, but it was actually quite
good. I played all the movie tie-in games because I played Fellowship of the Ring, I played Two Towers, Return of the King. Pretty much all of them were good.
Shit. They also made the Simpsons game, fucking Godfather and Godfather 2.
Yeah, I played the first Godfather game. It is basically like poor man's GTA.
And then when they became Visceral, they've made My Sims Agents, Dante's Inferno, Army of Two, Devil's Cartel, Battlefield,
they did do the Army of Two games.
Hardline. And they also made a Battlefield Hardline.
Yep. And apparently Battlefield, I don't think a lot of people liked Hardline.
It was hit or miss. Let's see, critical reception. Oh no, people actually did mind this one, but fans probably didn't like it. But we were talking about
really
EA,
went off the rails with that.
Oh well, fuck it. Okay, out of everything that was shown, which one were you excited for, and which one are you going to avoid?
Most excited for.
They already did the answer. Name another one, because name another one, because we already know both of our answers will be Crash 4. Like one
Hitman
more
3?
that you are excited for. Yeah, that'll work. And which one do you not want?
That's a good question, actually. I don't know. Like maybe I guess the chess game. What was it called? Oh, chess.
Auto
chess.
I
literally have no interest in
that. Yeah, I have no interest in that either. It's like the same with me. It's like Crash 4, but now that's kind of actually a hard one too, because I don't know any other ones that would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to say Vader Immortal, but at the same time,
yeah. I mean, it's also a game that's already out technically.
Yeah, so I'll probably just be the one that doesn't really the quote unquote hipster. I would just say Splunky 2.
Yeah, that works.
Because I liked Splunky 1, and I think the sequel would be a lot better. As for the one I'm not excited for, I'm kind of going to say Auto Chess.
Yeah, that's just such an easy one. It's just a game about
chess. It is. But also,
I just don't like literally who wants to play this game.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Genshin as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know enough about it. Like and not to mention, I'm just more of a fan of the Hitman games too. So I already know I'm gonna eventually get Hitman 3. I'll probably get Genshin too, but like I said, it's a game I need to see like some more gameplay for and play it myself.
Yeah, same here. I kind of need to see more gameplay and actually what the fuck.
And I was looking at they do have some gameplay up on YouTube because they some people uploaded gameplay from the closed beta and it looks pretty good. Like it does kind of look like a Tales game.
It does. For those that are probably waiting for Tales of Arise.
Yeah, that game actually looks really good too.
Yep. Now, for us weeaboos out there.
Okay, so I think that about wraps it up because there's not really anything else to talk about with this.
Yeah, there really wasn't.
Wasn't, unfortunately. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one. But yeah, of course. So I guess we can go ahead and do our plugs. Yeah.
Again,
as always, you can all find me on YouTube at Captain Chaos, and you can also find me on Twitter by the same name, Captain Chaos. You can find me on Instagram as Enigmatic Arts, and you can also find me on Etsy as Enigmatic Prints, where I sell prints of my artwork.
And I'm the same thing as before. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. It's like it's just my name. It's everywhere.
But what if there's different variations of your name? I don't know.
There will never be any other iterations.
But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed our takes on this, on the state of play. I'm not really sure what we're doing for the next podcast. Are we just like, you said we really don't have a topic for that one, do we?
I actually don't know what the fuck we're going to be doing. I'll think.
Because it's weird because I
one.
think came up with the topics for like a lot of the other ones, like up to I think October. Or
ideas, but not anything written down.
I'll think of something. Yeah.
You better fucking think of something. I'm tired of writing all the goddamn topics.
Because Levy does a lot of the, it comes up with a lot of the ideas, actually, and like a lot of the topics for the podcast.
You better give me one.
But
by
it's like,
next
hey,
week.
I feel like I
strike.
contribute because I edit the fucking things, and that's sometimes that's a monumentous task, considering especially the last one, considering it was like 2.5 hours long. So editing that was a fucking pain in my ass.
True.
Editing this will be easy, just because it's just maybe, how long are we going? Like an hour? Yeah, like an hour long. So it's what.
Editing this is a breeze.
And not to mention, all I have to do is just put in basically different clips from the State of Play stream. So yeah,
more or less.
But then again, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, and I guess until next time, we will see you all later.